Money Radio, thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure to welcome Laura Bramnick from TalkRealEstateAZ.com. TalkRealEstateAZ.com. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Sinclair.
Laura Bramnick is an attorney and a real estate agent and a consumer advocate, and she works on residential and commercial real estate. Laura holds an active Arizona real estate license. She's been a real estate investor over the years. She is a certified instructor with the Arizona Department of Real Estate. And if you have questions about real estate and real estate transactions, 480-624-2705, 480-624-2705. And you don't just untangle those real estate problems, you can directly oversee transactions for buyers and sellers and maybe never have a problem to begin with.
Yes, that's the goal. That is the goal.
And there can be some deal breakers. And we talked about this last week, and I want to follow up because it got me thinking about the different things that could break a deal.
Yes, and sometimes you don't know till you're pretty far down the transaction. You know, if you're relocating from another state, you want to be proactive in the beginning.
Sure.
And you don't want to spend money. Right, time is of the essence. And so there's a lot of issues that you need to be aware of. The other thing, when particularly when people are moving in from out of state, there are very few states that do real estate transactions without lawyers.
Sure.
But Arizona is one of them. And so usually, though, your first contact when you're looking in Arizona is with a real estate agent. And what my experience has been is the first thing the real estate agent says is, oh, we don't need lawyers in Arizona, which is technically true.
You're not required
Right.
to have one, but I gotta say, it's just smart.
Yeah, as we say many times, Sinclair, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Boy, it really is.
And so the transactions here are many of them are done without lawyers, and people coming in from out of state, they don't know anybody to call. You know, they don't have, like, let's say, a lawyer that they've used before here in Arizona.
Right.
So usually they rely on the realtor. And it's really better to meet with an attorney and understand all your rights and potential liabilities, and also make a laundry list of what you really need out of the transaction.
Some people think, and I think a lot of real estate agents say, oh, don't worry, we've got disclosures.
Yes.
And there are a list of disclosures. However, that may not be a really complete list. And then there's this whole idea of selling a property as is.
Yes. Now, the template of the real estate contract that I would say 98% of the realtors use has in there that disclosures will be provided to the buyer from the seller.
SPUDS,
the
right?
SPUDS, which stands for Seller's Property Disclosure Statement, and CLUES, which is the insurance history of the house. So if you've had an insurance claim, like especially if you've had a flood, but there are other claims as well, as you know. You can have a roof leak. There's lots of things that can happen.
Sure.
And if the house is as is, that means that the seller is going into the transaction not willing to negotiate repairs. But it doesn't mean that the seller can't tell you what they know about the property.
Okay.
And, you know, especially with investors, there are companies in Arizona that buy up properties at trustee sales, at sheriff sales, or they just find distressed homeowners, and they've never set foot in the property. And you need to know things like that, because you better do your own inspections. And then if for some reason it doesn't come out the way you want it to, you have to be prepared either to make a financial investment to pay for those inspections or request reimbursement from the seller as part of the terms of your contract.
Another thing that's very important to understand are the CCRs, and if there's a homeowners association, what their rules are.
Well, also, again, people coming from out of state, many of them are not familiar with HOAs. And it's not that they're not condominiums in other states, but we have many more homeowners associations than other states. And also, our homeowners associations have a lot of power. I had a call from an attorney in Ohio yesterday who had a relative who was buying property here. And she asked me, can the homeowners associations really do what these CCNRs say? And I said, yes. I said, they have a lot of power. They have the power to foreclose if you don't pay your assessments. And
yeah, that's pretty big right there.
that
because
is
assessments
huge.
could be much larger than you might imagine.
And also, the regular monthly payments are different than, let's say, an assessment to put on new roofs, or to repay, if they're private roads, to pave your roads, or things like that. So if you don't have a big chunk of money, you have to realize that your HOA can make an assessment that's fairly large that you may have to pay in 1 or 2 payments, you know. And so you have to be aware. Most people don't want to read the CCNRs because they're voluminous and they have a lot of legalese, and even if you read them, many times you can't understand them.
Sure.
So, and also they're supposed to be provided within so many days after you sign the contract. And many times they don't come until near close of escrow. And now you've gotten very deep into the buying process with your lender.
You're almost feeling locked in.
You're paid for the appraisal, you've done all those things, and many people don't realize they don't have to close until they've seen those documents, even if they've been delivered late.
You've said this before, and it's really true. Proactive saves money.
Proactive saves money, and I just see it over and over and over again. And I realize that many times when people buy property, they are stretching their own financial limits. So one more thing by seeking out legal counsel can seem overwhelming financially, but it really can save so much money in the long run.
And you've told me as well, frequently when you're working as the real estate agent, it doesn't cost anything extra to have you work as an attorney.
Yes, because I have my real estate license and my law license, I can serve the dual role. And because under the way Arizona's structure is set up, as in most states, a real estate agent's entitled to a commission. The commission will compensate me for my legal advice as well. And they have dual protection.
It's a twofer.
It's a twofer.
Two for the price of one with Laura Bramnick. That's good stuff. Laura Bramnick, TalkRealEstateAZ.com. If you'd like, you can also go there and listen to archived audio of our conversations with Laura. TalkRealEstateAZ.com, or call 480-624-2705. 480-624-2705. Laura Bramnick, TalkRealEstateAZ.com. Great information. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sinclair.